Hello, I'm Rachel Delgado, storyteller, preservationist, and neighborhood historian. This is a tribute to my father, Pedro Delgado, 1910 to 2003. It is the dash between the years that tells the story of the life lived. I am a daddy's girl. Us kids were all born at least 5 years apart, so I felt like I had dad all to myself. Each of us have our own memories with each of our parents. Dad grew up on a farm in Flatonia, Texas. He and Mom were children when they met at a family wedding. Story goes that Mom was eating an ice cream and he walked up to her and licked it. Mom alerted her brothers, but all they did was stick out their tongue at him. From then on, they took notice of each other. Dad and his brother Jorge provided the music at many family gatherings. Dad played the bajo sexto and Jorge sang. It was then that Dad decided not to be a farmer. At 20, he moved to San Antonio. He lived with his older sister and worked at her flower shop. He studied with Maestro Mandufano and performed around the community. He tried his hand at writing songs also. He did his best to follow his dream. On one occasion, he was with a group called Los Zapatas. They went in to do a recording. He was disappointed when he was told, "Just play, do not sing." That was his life as a musician. Mom finally accepted his proposal, and so began married life. Time for a steady job. Once they started building their home, both became very involved in the community. They were founding members of St. Augusta Catholic Church. Dad was a member of the Holy Name Society and served as one of the presidents. There were a lot of fundraisers. Dad was also a CYO baseball coach with the St. Augusta Braves. They were champs from 1964 to 1966. We went to a lot of baseball games. One of my favorite memories was sharing hot dogs with Dad at the Missions games at the old Mission Stadium. I did most of the eating. Another favorite pastime was watching TV with him. I sat next to him watching The Untouchables, or a Western. We had many conversations about gangsters and prohibition afterwards. After he gave up music, he started working as a house painter. He did a lot of the interior stenciling and decorative arts in some of the city's historic buildings. He would often take us on Sunday drives to point out the places he was working at. He greatly admired the work of Walter Mathis, who was restoring homes in the King William area. That is what inspired my interest in historic preservation. Thank you, Dad. We continue to talk about Mom and Dad every day. They worked hard and provided all we needed. They both continue to live in our hearts. Dad always made the funniest comments. Our mom was the neighborhood plant lady. One day we all piled in the car, but he declined to join us. His granddaughter, Amy, asked why. He paused and looked at her and said, "The dogs do not give change." Thank you. Juanita Rosas Delgado, 1915 to 2019. As I sit in front of her dressing table, I am transported back to my childhood. I used to love to play with her earrings. Unfortunately, I lost most of them. I see Mom as a young farm girl of 20, coming to San Antonio as a newlywed in 1935. She waited that long to get married after seeing her older sister marry young and bear children year after year. She saw the toll it took on her health. Mom would have been happy to stay on the farm, but Dad did not want to be a farmer. He loved music and hoped to earn a living at it. So Mom became a city girl. She remembers her first sight of San Antonio. They drove past the Plaza de Zacate, which was full of Christmas lights and music. It was an impressive welcome to her new home. Both worked at the Elizondo Flower Shop at first. Then they set off to build a house for themselves. Dad was a strolling musician at the plaza and played with other groups. Once the babies came, he had to get a steady job. Mom was told by neighbors of job opportunities at the local garment factories. San Antonio was at the peak of the ready-to-wear industry. One of the biggest factories was Basila Frocks. Her last job was for JN in that same building. One of the perks was being able to purchase the imperfect stock at a discount. I love my pinafores and fancy dresses. Every Easter and Christmas, we got the entire ensemble. A hat, dress, and new shoes. Mom would remind me of how I loved my charoles, the patent leather shoes. She was very insistent on matching shoes and purses for us and for herself. Even when she reached 100, she adhered to that rule. The crowning touch was the hat. People dressed up a lot more back then. Dad always had his fedora. And then our grandma and two of our tias moved to San Antonio also. Working in the garment factories gave them an income plus a social life. On one occasion, Pedro Infante gave a Mother's Day concert at the Municipal Auditorium. Our tia Chelo told her co-workers that she was taking her mom to the concert and that she would dance with him. Sure enough, Pedro Infante was serenading the mothers and asked Grandma to dance. She was so shy and said she did not dance. Tia was quick to say that she did and got to dance with him. She smiled at her co-workers as she danced by them. I asked Mom why she didn't go. Her reply was that Dad reminded her that she was a married woman with children and she should be home taking care of them. Mom has fond memories of her time as a sewing machine operator. Her job was hard and they were paid by the piece. Unions were strongly discouraged. Her income helped complete our house. She would be up there hammering alongside our dad. After a week of sewing, she treated us kids and herself to a trip downtown. Hot dogs and sharing a knee-high at Pete's Hot Dogs, and then off to the Alameda. It was magic walking into the theater. I was enthralled by the Art Deco interior. The blacklight murals on the walls reflected the history of Mexico and Texas. The entertainment on stage was even more spectacular. Either a film from the Época de Oro or live entertainment. One of my favorite spots in the theater was the ladies' lounge. There was a mirrored wall with stools that extended across the room. I sat there watching the women primp in the mirror. I too felt glamorous. Then it was back to sit with the family. I continued to go to the Alameda with Mom well past my teens. Just like I went with her to see Miguel Aceves Mejia, she went with me to see Rafael. Those were happy times. I find comfort in knowing that Mom lived a long and full life. She was a neighborhood plant lady and a church lady too. Thinking of her makes me smile. Love you, Mom.
Virus loca, otra plaga, otra vez. ¿Qué caray? Siempre nos persigue Calacas. A veces la huesuda nos avisa con tiempo, mas las plagas son traidoras. También Patosdilo es traicionera. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? Paciencia, camarada, mucha paciencia. Máscaras, cúbranse la boca y también la nariz. ¿Por qué? Reglamentos que la ley impone, quieran o no. Cualquier tela a la mano o multa si no lo hace. ¿Hasta cuándo? ¿Quién sabe? Calacas nunca falla.